This bill and income tracker has 3 tabs, and the final tab is a calendar where you can see when all of your bills are due. We'll also tally up your income for you, and you can scroll through the months and see when you have bills due, and you can check them off the list, and it will subtract the amount from your income that you made that month. So it's very easy to use once you have everything set up. So to set it up, we're going to come into the Bill Setup tab, and I have this populated right now, but when you get the spreadsheet, it will be blank. And the first thing that you're going to do is pick the start day of the week that you'd like the calendar to start on. So I'm in the US, so I like to start on Monday, and I'm going to set the currency to dollars. And then I'm going to go ahead and come through the different categories and insert my bills. So this column, the monthly bills fixed, is for everything that takes place on the same day of every month and equals the same amount of money each time. So this is going to be things like rent and internet and other fixed costs that simply don't change on a monthly basis. And then over to the right, you can see we've got 2 other columns. We have a middle column, which is for things that do change in amounts. So for example, my electric bill is a different amount every month. So those amounts I'm just going to enter into the calendar tab. So I'm only putting the day of the month that the electric bill is due, and then the rest I will fill in each month on the calendar. And then the final column is for bills that do cost the same amount but happen in a different frequency range, like once a year or twice a year or quarterly. So for this column, it's important that you set the start day that the bill occurs, and it is important that your start day takes place during the year that your calendar is going to be in use. So if you use this calendar for multiple years, you will need to go in and just update those start dates. That way everything does still populate on the calendar for the year that you're using it. So for these bills, it's going to be things like water, sewer, and trash, which happens 4 times a year. My annual bills, like my Canva subscription and my car insurance, which happens twice a year. So I'm just entering these in, and the great news is you don't have to put them in order. My spreadsheet will go ahead and rearrange them for you. And since I always forget, I'm just going to go ahead and put down quarterly taxes. That way I can have a visual reminder, and that's good enough for me. So now I've entered my bills. The next thing is to enter my income. So I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of the sheet and click Income Setup. That will take me to the same type of tab I was in before, and only this one is for income. So now I'm going to go ahead and enter in all of my monthly income. And these categories are set up just a little bit differently, but the same idea. We still have the variable column, and then we have the fixed column. And so we just have one less column than before, but it's the same idea. So in the fixed income column, this is going to be for my income that is the same amount every time, and then I can go ahead and pick my frequency, whether I'm paid monthly, weekly, bi-weekly, but the amount stays the same. And again, we just have to make sure to set the correct frequency and also set a start date that happens within the same year that you'll be using the spreadsheet. And then once again, on the left, the variable income column, that is for things that do change in amounts but happen on the same day each month. So I'll just clear these out and we could see what would happen if I would put them in over here. I opt to do weekly, but then I remember, wait a minute, I get different amounts from eBay every single week, so it's not going to work in that column. I could put that in the fixed income column if I put it as a one-time payment, but I don't want to do that. Okay, so now we've entered everything in and we are in the calendar tab, and this is a close-up of what it looks like here. And we can see that these columns where the variable income is are blank. And so I can go ahead and enter in how much money I got from these platforms. And down at the bottom, we see all the fixed income and the fixed bills. And then over on the right, we have a summary of all the bills that are due. And at the very top here, we have the month and year. And so we can scroll through and see everything populate depending on the month and year that I pick. And then as you pay the bills, you can just go ahead and check them off the list, and it will get subtracted from the columns up top. So it'll be tallying for me how much I have left to pay and how much I've already paid, and then what my balance is depending on what the income is that I made that month. Scroll all the way over to the right, you see the balance that's left over, and then you can click on this little chart and you can see a visual of your paid versus unpaid bills. So just a quick tip, you can also go up to this tab at the top here and you can kind of shrink the sheet so that more of it fits on the page. I kind of like to use things at 75% and it all fits that way. Overall, it's a really great tool for keeping me organized and giving me a snapshot glimpse of my finances.